I'm gonna need you to cook.
I got you. I think I can make something work.
Make it gourmet.
Hello shop fam, welcome back to another deck profile. This week we're going to be showcasing Hannibal. I was requested to play this deck by a friend of mine. I definitely wanted to explore this leader. I didn't think I'd be doing it this soon. I think he's very underrated. A lot of people like to think he's the worst leader out of the ones that just came out in the new set, the Memorial Booster, aka EB01. Me personally, I actually think he's the strongest. And like I said, now we got a chance to play him. I've taken 2 locals already with it, so I decided I wanted to share the list with you guys. It's still a work in progress, but I definitely think we're on the right path. So let's get right into the deck profile. Starting off, we're playing 4 Hannibal, purple Hannibal. So essentially, we're pretty much still playing Impel Down in general. We're playing both the blue and the purple cards. Our early game is centered around the purple cards, so that's the reason why I still want to play the Searcher Hannibal. Next up, we play Domino. Domino is important because going second, this lets us ramp on turn 2. We get 2 Dawn, we can use our leader's effect immediately, and it gives us 1 extra Dawn to work with. So it's kind of like you're hitting purple Luffy curves, which I think is really good in the future. So, yeah. Next up, we're playing Prince Bellet. Same thing as Domino, except he's 2k counter rather than a blocker. Just your main turn 1 play going second. And our main combo piece, Little Sadi. This card is our main extender. It makes all of our minnow characters, or jailer beasts, 1 cost less. So essentially they're all 3 cost. And we're only playing 2 of them, which is 4 Koala, or Chihuahua, and 4 Koala. Alright. They're both really good. I believe these are the only 2 this deck should be playing at all. The one Chihuahua lets you rush, so you gotta start going 5 and 5, and when it gets KO'd, you get yourself an extra Dawn. Koala is the same thing, except it's a blocker, so you can control when it dies, so your opponent can't just play around it. Like if they pass, you got an extra turn, which is already good because they didn't attack your life. But if they do, you just immediately take the block and you're going to 7 on your next turn. Next up, we're going into our blue and pull down cards. Playing 4 Crocodile. This is just a 7 cost Yvonne Cup target. It's a 7k beater. We're essentially going to be hitting base numbers the whole game. So you're going to go a lot of 5, a lot of 7, and you use more as the game progresses if you have Dawn. After that, we're playing 6 Inazuma. I think this card is the main card of the whole deck, and what makes me really enjoy playing this and helps us in a lot of our matchups. Because end of turn, since you're allowed to pick your order, you can play down extra cards just to drop your hand to 2 and then get the additional draw 2 from this, and then return said card back to your hand. So you're always essentially staying at a 5-card hand. There are times where also you can drop your whole hand if you're fielding 2 of these, and then you can draw 2, draw an additional 2, and then get an extra card from your leader. Next up, we're playing blue Luffy, Impel Down Luffy. This one's on play, and when he attacks, you discard 2 cards, and he gets double attack, and he also returns a 4 cost in the hand. With a lot of the current meta being mainly 4 cost characters and lower, sometimes 5, this card's really important. It deals with the Kiku Nojos, any blockers, Ripper Law has to play all the characters down again, and you get a lot of pressure off of you, and it helps close out your games. And last, we have Ivankov. This is our main card of the whole deck that isn't in Inazuma. There are times where you will be bouncing this multiple times just because you want to keep it safe, and you're going to keep dropping it down so you can get additional bodies. It is definitely one of our main attackers. It's just a wonderful card. I don't think anything else can be said about this. And our last Impel Down card, playing 4 Champion Rifle. I think this card's overlooked or underestimated. This definitely helped me win a lot of my games. A lot of my opponents think they had game. I would leave up a bunch of Dawn, and I would just slam down a bunch of these, and they lose their whole board. And then next turn, I would kill them. Good trigger. Searchable if you're playing the buggy, but primarily using this to fill up your opponent's hand. It doesn't matter what they get. Yeah, they get a pick, but it's not gonna matter. And then our last cards are not Impel Down cards. So we're playing 2 Pudding, 2 Mihawk, and 2 Kaidos. Kaido, I think, was really strong. We're able to hit 10 Dawn on turn 4, so you're able to curve this going first on turn 4, which a lot of times your opponent just can't out this or deal with this in time. So he gives you a fat hand and a lot of pressure. Mihawk, because in the moments where we decide we don't want to go to 10 on the turn 4, we can Mihawk turn 4 and bottom deck any character that's 7 costs or less, which usually will be ahead of their curve. And then Pudding is the reason why I think Champion Rifle is justified. You gotta fill up their hand, and then you make them lose their whole hand. I'm actually thinking about putting this up to 4, or bumping it to 3 along with the Kaido to 3, and then just removing the Mihawks entirely. Because the Mihawks, they kind of underperformed. Like, a lot of this is just attacking for fundamentals and then clearing. That's it. So, this is the summary, I guess, or like my matchups. So, I played 2 locals with this deck so far. I took 3rd in one and 1st in the other. The one I took 3rd, I technically could have gone 1st. My last round would have been Sokka had I not given my friend the win, which I think we have a really good matchup into, because they cannot clear. We rush a lot, and having a 7 and a 6 cost turn 3 is like really advantageous for us. It's not easy to deal with unless they drew like cracked, but that's not often. You know, they're a consistent hand, but I don't think they'll be able to get there. The second tournament we played against round 1. It was Whitebeard. That one was pretty straightforward. We just played a lot of attack for 6k and start slowly establishing our board. We took hits where we could, and then I let him accumulate his hand, and then we used Champion Rifle into Pudding, so he loses, you know, his whole hand. That's what happened. I had already established a Kaido and a Mihawk, so on the next turn when he has that 0 life, it was just game over. The second round, we got down paired. We played into Red Purple Law. Same thing. Fortunately, I opened a lot of my rushers, so I was just going 5 non-stop, and he didn't have enough cards to keep bottom decking all my Chihuahuas, so eventually I started getting value off of it. But once, and he was using all those cards on it anyways, so once I got down to playing Ivankov and Luffy, he couldn't clear those, and there was a lot of Hail Mary turns for the both of us, but I managed to pull through because Inazuma kept allowing me to draw more cards, and he didn't have any reaches. In the third round, we played against Yamato. It was kind of the same thing. I opened a lot of dominoes, so that prevented him most of the game from just donning up his leader and swinging, and it bought me a lot of time to accumulate Ivanka Luffy again. And also his hand wasn't real, so that helped a lot. The last round, we played against Katakuri. Same thing, lots of rushing, lots of blockers. Ivanka Luffy in turn 2, or turn 3, and he couldn't keep up with that. He ended up discarding all his big moms, his life. He didn't see any 7 costs, and we were able to close the game from there. I definitely think this leader has potential. There are multiple ways to play it. So far, we've done blue impulse down. Like I said, I don't like it because early game gives us a lot of aggro or defensive options because we go Koala or Chihuahua. And we're allowed to play turn 3 Ivankov into Luffy, Crocodile, and Inazuma. I definitely think that's super strong, especially against a lot of other decks that can't turbo out anything, because usually your opponents only just play the 4-cost character on your turn 3, but if you play down the Luffy, that 4-cost they just played doesn't do anything. So essentially they only have their leader attack and 6 down to work with my crack. You can also do the purple route, which like full purple, which essentially you're just playing purple Luffy, because you go second, ramp, your next turn you're going to 5, so you can play Magellan, and then bounce the Magellan, so you go to 7 next turn, and you can poly them into a Kaido. Like, that's always good. I definitely think that gives it a better matchup to yellow, but with the blue, since you control like their bouncing, their pudding, I definitely think the blue one is definitely a lot stronger, and it gives you better board presence. Hey guys, sorry if you made it to the end of this video, or the end of the deck profile, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If I missed anything, you know, you can be sure to address it there. We do read comments. We do have a website. If you haven't been there already, you can find it at 3-bitgames.com. We also have a Discord you could join. Our community is very active. I'm usually on there. The link should be in the description. It could also be found on our Instagram. So definitely check it out. We'd love to have you in our community. We also take requests too. So just like this deck profile, since a friend told me to do it, you know, if you guys have an idea or want to see some, like a leader that hasn't been played, or a leader just interested in seeing and like our take on it, I could totally do that. So again, thank you for watching. Special shout outs would be The Light for hosting all these locals, our friend Gio for the ride, everybody I played against, Dwayne, Alec, the shop, you already know. Thanks for watching. See you next time.